At this tree stand this morning from bright and early. Before sunrise. And the cameras have all been super good. We haven't gone a day without seeing some kind of bull here. Unfortunately, this morning nothing happened. So it's 4:30 right now, 4:30. And I'm back in the tree stand above this wallow. And I hope this afternoon turns out great. I hope to do some surgery and deeply surgically insert a hypodermic down into the vitals of a big bull elk. So hopefully the next clip you see will be me a little more excited and holding a bloody arrow or a big rack. Alright, wish me luck. eventually they ended up spooking it off. And then we started to chase other bugles, and we've been pretty close and had them answering our bugles, but they wouldn't come in. So it's getting a little later. The bugling is stopped, and that might be it for the morning hunt. But I got real close to a nice big one again, and couldn't make a shot. That's about it. We parked the truck in a really good spot, and we heard bugling right away before sunrise, and we focused on some bugles and headed in before shooting light towards the bugles. And then James stopped at a spot. We were getting close and started to bugle, but I waited for a while up ahead of him. Nothing came my way, but I could still hear the bugling, so I put a super sneak on and got really close, probably 30 yards, but I never did see him, and he started to move away. We chased him for a while, and a cow went running by me and stopped at 10 yards, not running but moving. And then I waited there for a while, seeing if a bull was following that cow. That didn't happen. So then James and I tied in back together, and he said that one had got by me. I didn't see it, but I was sure looking. But he said that one was raking a bush near him. He was staying totally hidden. So when we met up after that, then we came out here to a good glassing point, and basically the bugles were outpacing what we could walk. They were moving, and we parked at a spot and had one bugle in a good position downwind, and I snuck in, and there's another cow went by me at about 50 yards feeding along a fence, private property, and I thought maybe the bull would follow her. There was a bull that had bugled real nearby, and then I started to put a creep on towards where I heard the bugle, and I bet you know what happened is the bull popped up. He had seen me before I saw him, even though I was sneaking really well and looking really well, and he jumped the fence onto private land. He was a big bull, but he wouldn't come back over the fence even with my best cow calling. So that's about it. The elk have now shut up. We're looking for them, and we'll probably head back to camp and rearrange a tree stand to a better position, and I'll probably sit water at night. Seems to be the logical thing to do. Oh, here it is, the last day in New Mexico, and we hit it hard, got up early, got in some bugling, got pretty close to some, but never real close to a big bull. They answered to our call, our bugle, but they wouldn't come in, so it was more a locator type thing. So this is James and I, our last on the ground elk hunt together this elk season here in New Mexico. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to go shower up, put on all clean clothes, and make sure I'm scent free, and go to a real trusty tree stand. I let a 5x4 go 2 times now, hoping for a bigger one, but we'll see what happens. I'll get there a little earlier, and maybe if he comes in this time, I'll shoot him, and hopefully maybe there'll be a much bigger one comes in first. Sitting here, it's 7:30 at Camp of the Tall Pines. Amazing camp. If you guys draw a tag in New Mexico, come stay at Camp of the Tall Pines. Great people, great camp feel, everything. They have hookups if you have a trailer like we do. They have cabins, they have all sorts of stuff, and you will not be disappointed. So check out Camp of the Tall Pines. But as I'm hanging out here, went up to the lodge, had some phone service, got a text from my dad that he said at 6:35 he got a bull down, and that means a lot more to me than myself getting one. So it's the last day, it's the last evening. We worked the entire time, and I could not be more proud of him for staying after it and getting it done. I cannot wait to hear about it when he gets back. The only reason I'm filming this now and not when he's here is because I don't know if he's going to get back before it's dark. So, wow. The guy's called the legend for a reason, but 2 for 2 in New Mexico. And shit, for me, this is the highlight of the trip. Easily, when I got that text, was the highlight of the trip. So, salute to my dad, and yeah, see you guys in the next clip. We're gonna go part out and dress out the rest of my elk. You saw that I got it right in the evening, and we went out there and gutted it and opened it up so it'd get some cool air flowing in it. Now we're gonna go in there and part it out, and take out our tree stands and pick up all the loose ends and head back to camp. And our campfire will be burning when we get back. It's chilly. It's chilly. Okay, it's next morning. We drove out here late last night and gutted him, and we opened him up so he would cool down. And we knew there were bears here, obviously, so we tried to move the gut pile away, and we put some of our own personal clothing or dirty clothing around him to try to avoid the bears coming in, but it didn't help. The bears came in. Luckily, they ate mostly the gut pile, and they tore a little bit into one of the back legs. But he's here. He's nice and cool, and we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna quarter him out, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to move him to the Ranger, which is only about 100 yards away from here, and the stand where I shot him from is about 100 yards away from here. So we followed a really good blood trail to him, or I did last night, and then we gutted him out last night. So I'm real excited. He's 5x5. and I held it out to the very last hour. I think I shot him at 6:30, and about 7:30 is about the end of the 14-day season. And I filled my tag. He's nice. I'm proud of him. He's not quite what we were after. We were after some monsters, and we've seen some monsters, and I had a chance at one, but I didn't make it happen. So I was real close a lot of times. Had a thrilling hunt, and the setup we brought is working out real well. Our camping trailer, our Ranger, and tree stands and pop-up blinds, and also we spent a lot of time on the ground trying to stalk in on them. But this guy here came in just at the last hour and saved me and helped me fill my tag. The shot was a pass-through shot. It was at about 20 yards. He was really close to me, and it had a really good blood trail coming out here. So I couldn't be more pleased. So there it is, folks. A New Mexico bull elk. This is it. We got the trusty tag on. We got the trusty Ranger all loaded up. All the meat's in an ice chest there. He's racking our equipment in this Tupperware, and we're gonna head on back and get it on ice, and head back to our camp of the Tall Pines campground where we've been staying, and we got hookups there, so we're in good shape, and we're excited to get this stuff on ice where it belongs. But it's done. That's it.
So here is kind of the lodge area at camp. Our camp is down there, but there's Wi-Fi and cell coverage up here, and beautiful. So sometimes we'll just come sit up here and use our phones at night, or maybe midday or whatever. But yep, camp of the Tall Pines. Great place to stay if you're hunting, or a couple parties were held here. You can rent out this lodge. So there's plenty of stuff to do. Got some horseshoe pits. It's a fun place. We're definitely gonna miss it. So I'll go ahead and put the link and some contact info for the camp in the bio. So if you guys want to stay here, you know where to reach out to.